Yeah, good morning, ma'am. So it is privilege for us to have you over this session.
Hello, am I audible? Hello, good morning.
So,
Thank you very much for the invitation. I'm very honored to be part of the AdtU 2023. Thank you. Shall I share my slides?
गीता कृष्णन इनको वेट करने के लिए बोलिए। ये जो है ना नीचे गीता कृष्णन, इनको वेट करने के लिए बोलिए। ऊपर जो है वो अभी करेंगे शरीफा मैडम। सो उनको बोल दीजिए कि यू हैव टू स्टार्ट। गीता कृष्णन ने अभी शरीफा का करना है। आफ्टर शरीफा गीता कृष्णन। ओके।
I would like to request Geeta Krishnan ma'am to wait for a few moments until we end up with this session. We are waiting for Dr. Sarifa Sultana for this session. Ma'am will request you to join after a few minutes.
शरीफा मैम का
Hello, may I start?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am, you're audible.
Okay. My slide is visible.
Yes, ma'am, your slide is ready.
Thank you. Very good morning to all of you. I am from patients and I show my gratitude to AdtU conference committee, especially science and Assam University. My special gratitude to Dr. Pharmacon, who invited me as a speaker, and of course the convener of the speaker, Bharat sir, all the guests, participants, good morning. I'd like to share my speech with you regarding the opportunity that chances of herbal medicine in Bangladesh. I think in this conference we have research institute, some metropolis, Philippines, and Japanese International University from Canada. I think my sound is clear. Is it okay? Hello? Yes. Okay, this is Dr. Sharika Sultana, Assistant Professor at the Department of Pharmacy, Dhaka University. Today, I would like to share the opportunities and challenges of traditional and herbal medicine in Bangladesh. All of you know that traditional medicine is technically a sort of used around the globe in different way, and its trend is increased day by day. And the post release of various societies modern society it increases. It refers to health practices, approaches, knowledge, and beliefs, incorporating plant, animal, mineral-based spiritual therapies, ritual techniques, and exercise with a combination of treatment, diagnosis, and it is used for the prevention of illness or pain. Now, the trend of herbal medicine and traditional medicine around the globe. If we see the scenario, India is the second largest exporter of medicinal plants in the world after China, with more than 6,000 medicinal plants. Moreover, India and China combined produce more than 70% of the total global demand for natural products. In China, herbal medicine accounts for 40% of all healthcare delivered, and about 200 million patients are covered by it per annum. 48% of population in Australia, 30% Belgium, 35% France prefer this herbal medicine. And the 7% of all doctors in France and Germany regularly prescribe natural medicine. If you see the global market size of herbal medicine, it increases gradually. The scenario show that the value of 2019 is 84.5 billion US dollar, whereas it becomes almost double number 2022, and it is rises sharply. So it indicates the demand of herbal medicine is increases day by day, and the belief and trust in this medicine increases sharply. According to the WHO report, globally, the number of countries using the traditional and herbal medicine increases. If you see the value of 1999, only 45 countries use herbal medicine. In 2018, it is 109, and the number is increased day by day. The percentage of the country in African region is highest, where 40 countries are leopard in this type of disease treatment pattern. So, if we see the scenario in Bangladesh, actually we are doing like other countries. Though the reputed companies and the specialist doctors do not accept it with full of confidence. They have some confusion, and they are actually working on it, and they increases their prescribing on natural medicine or herbal medicine. Recently, the mainstream pharmaceutical companies are concentrating this market with modern approaches and work attention from every corner. If we see the total number of pharmaceutical development, is more than 500, and about 450 to 500 medicinal herbs are enlisted for using such type of herbal medicine. There are 70 licensed brands in the country for producing herbal medicine, and we see the market size of pharmaceutical products more than 6,000 crore, and in case of herbal products, it is now rising 2,500. The global herbal medicine market is growing at 15 to 20% every year. So the Bangladesh is also working this trend, and if we see the total number of plant species in our country is 17,000, whereas 7,500 have been just practically used. And 75% of population is now using herbal medicine for their practice healthcare system. Over 2 billion of population in the worldwide having the tendency to use this medicine. In our country, the topmost pharmaceuticals is now coming forward with different type of medicine like square, sector, currently the nation is of different companies exported in Vietnam, and we also exported Thailand, Myanmar, Oman, Romania, and Malaysia also. So the reason behind this choosing medicine in the of our country is that the low cost, the accessibility, and the treatment facilities or modern treatment facilities for the local people is sometimes is rare. That's why they are for medicine. And but it is now increased the urban population also try to incorporate this medicine minimum side effects and maximum efficacy. Survey is conducted with population. We find that the 57% of population think the therapeutic effect or the effectiveness of herbal medicine is solely sufficient, and only 30% think that it is not effective, and around 30% find that it is effective in combination with has minimum side effects. From one of my papers, we find that which part of this medicinal plant is mostly used, which is the leaves. Almost 80% or more than 80% leaves and the roots. So whole plants, seeds, fruits, stem, buds, flowers, that all are used for preparation of medicinal or herbal products. And it is used for different types of ailments, especially for skin disorder, jaundice, menstrual disorder, appetite pain, and so on. Here I am focusing the plants, 25 plants, which are commonly used in our country for different types of treatment and in different forms. These plants are also used in India also. So I'm not going through all of these plants. There are actually 5 plants. Now I'm focusing the plants of phytochemicals for the past a very specific time for
Recording in progress.
uh, so by using many types of pharmaceuticals as well as phytochemicals or compounds that are from natural source help us to get this knowledge value. So one of my papers one of my book chapters, which is published in Assam Pharmacology and Drug Discovery for COVID-19, search for any from herbal medicine. Otherwise, you can use your microphone. So, in this book chapter, I'm focusing the phytochemicals which work against
Recording stopped. Recording in progress.
cold food. So, actually, my work is focusing the pharmaceuticals that work against COVID-19, and these are published in 8 September 2023. In this paper, I'm focusing the structure of the COVID virus and the limitation of current virus function and how the biological compounds work with their mechanism and the planetary vaccine formation and the molecular carrier approach and the future prospects of phytochemicals antiviral solution. So, why we are because we find that there is some limitation of common treatment methodology uh, of antiviral disease and the virus that affected the COVID-19 virus which become very quickly resistant and instant. That's why we are focusing on the natural therapies and the natural pharmaceuticals is the second option to stop such type of uh, infection. So the lack of licensed medication for the treatment of virulent disease has come to light consequently for COVID-19. Numerous natural pharmaceuticals produced by scientists that have antiviral and anti-inflammatory effects. Several vascular natural products comprising alkaloids, polyphenols, chemics, flavonoids have been demonstrated to be effective as antivirals and then particularly for the treatment of COVID-19. Recent research has placed the strong emphasis on the antiviral effects on diverse natural products generated from different resources, vegetables, fruits, plants, and cereals as possible source of various biological compounds. So we are mainly focusing some phytochemicals the efficacy against this virus. All of you know the mechanism of this virus, which has the composition of the SARS-CoV virus includes 5S protein, membrane protein, and non-structural protein. In case of spike protein or S protein, the transcendent and regional activates in a viral envelope and extracellular enhancement and decrease intracellular secretion straight comprises the structure as protein 150 to 100 molecular. Membrane protein is 283 amino acid long and it is divided into three primary units, transmembrane H1, H2, and H3. Some structural proteins process the gene for structural proteins with the pipeline individual the viral RNA. is the limitation of submission of the antivirus, which has been the major window, limited efficacy, minimum side effects, resistance property, and the cost is higher. Therefore, we are focusing the phytochemicals that are from natural source, and this is the review from establishing some common phytochemicals to prevent SARS-CoV-2. First one is the consumer lockdown or disease, with a very common site in our country as well as in the country also. It's having the viral compound cartoons that has the antiviral properties against a wide range of virus. It works by interacting with multiple cellular signals and synthetic viral infection process. Cartooning inhibits some like interesting is the virus protein activity is into the cell. Human cellular for their sensitivity to structural replication inhibition using cyclophosphamide into C and D. Cyclophosphamide may be one of the most effective saponine specific 0.3 or 1, which blocks the virus transmission and replication. Another finding is propolis has anti-inflammatory and inhibitory effects. It can also modulate the immune system. It has been shown to increase the control replication by immune and for example, KFPR as to expression and by the easy mobility modified from in case of algae-related biotic metabolites, we find of the plant microbiome galacta, cyanide, liquid cells, activia, kava, these are often from anti-vitamins and all of them having the ability to stop the infection of COVID-19 by blocking the empathic gas protein. This is the picture where you find the how phytochemicals integrate this virus. Some phytochemicals, the compounds here I mentioned, you find in other paper also, which act against this virus, and their target protein also mentions that their IgG value. All of these are done by the studies. Now I'm focusing the in vivo studies. We are also trying some in vivo studies now. One is artificial aqua. Artificial aqua has been shown to inhibit pulmonary fibrosis in that it's the total infection by blocking the production of inflammatory molecules and their relevant pathways. Artificial aqua has been shown to inhibit the production of pulmonary fibrosis in rat by blocking the like one, transporting growth factor beta 1, by 3 and
Recording stopped.
it shall protein HSP 40. Then, Chytridium infovin, it will prevent the SARS-CoV-2 from entering cell and reduce the amount of exposure that is transmitted to viral entry by suppressive CRSS. It also contributes to reducing the lung inflammation in that it lipopolysaccharides reduce respiratory distress syndrome. In
Recording in progress.
January, it showed that significantly reduced lung virus numbers infected 882 transgenic ones. So these are the studies so far we find that they are not how to reduce or diminish the growth of RT. In our study or we hope that we are also suggesting some vaccine formulation from this natural or plant-based vaccine preparation and antiviral metabolites. So you know the plant-based vaccine has some advantages. It allows saturation of polychlorine in plants, suggesting a rapid development of SARS-CoV-2 vaccine candidates. The number of companies are working on COVID-19 vaccines, some of which are currently undergoing clinical trials. That is, vaccines have several advantages over traditional vaccines like easier and concentrated, more stable, and can be stored at room temperature and less likely to cause side effects. One of the most promising approaches for developing scientific vaccine against SARS-CoV-2 is the viral plant protein and protein has been shown to be immunogenic in animals. Another approach is to use plant biology to produce virus-like particles that bind the structure of SARS-CoV-2. Virus-like particles are non-infectious but can still trigger an immune response. Plant-produced virus-like particles have been shown to be effective in protecting animals against other viruses, and they are currently being evaluated as potential vaccines against SARS-CoV-2. Here are the pictures where I showed in the images by finding. We can introduce this as protein or virus-like particles in plants which activate antigen, and these antigen can be collected and biomass is contributed antigen and they tablet that we can use as an oral vaccine or in isolate this antigen and insert it to the antigen with these proteins. The last findings of this is the formation of nanotechnology or nanocare approaches using antiviral virus hormone. You know the nanocare approaches can be used to improve the bioavailability and therapeutic of plant antivirals. Nanotechnology has the
Recording stopped.
the delivery and efficacy of plant-based antiviral compounds, which could lead to new and significant treatments for COVID-19 and other infectious diseases. Some of the potential outcomes are number one, CCD is the plant flavonoid having the antiviral properties against SARS-CoV-2. However, it has low water solubility and poor bioavailability. Nanotechnology approaches like microbiome and nanoemulsion can be used to improve viability of disease. Albumin nanoparticles can be used to prevent drugs. Patients with COVID-19 food often have no albumin. Polyethylene glycol, COVID albumin nanoparticles can be used to enhance the viability of. There, I show the list of antiviral particles commonly used for preparation of particulars of bacteria, which is artemisia, abortion, hypovaline, myelin, torticillin. This can be formed either liposome, nanoparticles, emulsion, mitochondria, to increase the bioavailability and increase the level of hypovalency for improving the efficacy. So, in this book sector, we are focusing some it helps to prepare the phytochemical organisms that can prevent the environment infection, not only COVID-19, but also other viral infection. Nowadays, we are finding lots of new disease that is offered by virus. So if we can standardize these phytochemicals or bioactive compounds from nature, so we can develop some vaccine or nanoparticles which helps to stop such type of infection. Another paper is published in the issue of Bio, where I focusing the multifaceted role of special sources of COVID-19 that is used as a main drug. In this study, we are focusing the various source different types of LU which can be isolated the bioactive compound that work against the virus. So this work is also similar. Similar work is published in Environmental Science and Pollution Research. And the next one is the bioactive compound that diabetes mellitus. So before diabetes become very common disease in our country, not only our country around the globe. So these are untreatable, uncurable disease. So, the patient with who has not enough mobility or the price of the drug or pharmaceutical is increased day by day. So, they are depending on some patient sources. In our rural area, many people use different types of phytochemicals or plants like which elements, Orientica, aloe vera for removing this problem. So it is also important point for us that these natural remedies can solve such type of problems. So we are working to introduce such type of medication or treatment of therapy and to our community and we would like to popularize this medicine also. So if we focusing the challenges of our country to popularize this medicine of therapy, we find that the indiscriminate harvesting and post-harvesting treatment techniques, lack of research about research and development of high-yield varieties,
Recording in progress.
poor infrastructure, and propagation methods, insufficient processing techniques leading to low yields and poor quality products, poor quality control procedures, lack of current manufacturing practices, difficulties in marketing, increased performance and lack of facilities to educate students locally, and lack of access to latest technologies and market information. So the short analysis of these studies, we find that we have some strength that this market competition, lots of new products, strong brand equity, and of course supply chain. But there is some weakness also, which is the safety issue, delayed from serious treatment, interference with vital treatment, interaction with other diseases, contamination during manufacturing process, and the opportunities that also export rich medicinal plants, rural expansion, consumer acceptance, affordability, credibility, and regulation. And these are really unnatural challenges with competition, administration of raw material, and lack of standardization. So if I summarize the whole point at a glance, that our range of producing herbal products or efficiency, increase increasing day by day. Nearly 800 companies are increasing, and these companies entering this carbon emission market. The potential of this market is it can often be more affordable, and the demand locally and internationally increase gradually, and the raw materials can be collected from our local source. The market size is 2,500, and the big promises are shared here, um, and the overall growth here is 10.5%, and pharmaceuticals growth 30%. So I already mentioned the challenges that the sector faces, some challenges related to challenges sourcing and lack of R&D also. So we have some future prospects also. We are looking forward to develop this sector because there is a wide range of acceptance among general people for having a common belief that herbal medicine is free from all side effects. So exploring this acceptance and maintaining proper quality control herbal sector is huge scope for being established in medicinal practices. Many pharmaceutical companies are recently showing interest to develop a branch of herbal medicine along with advocates consider the demand on market. Oil and anesthetic drug makers are gearing up to establish herbal medicine use. People who need to have herbal medicine is the alternative of allopathic medicine in the near future. So thank you all. That's all from me. Thank you for your invitation.
Thank you, ma'am, for your valuable time and fruitful session. So for the next session, I would like to hand to Krishna.
Thank you, ma'am. Now I'd request participants to ask if there is any question.
Okay.
Any questions from the participants? Okay. We have Kim Bahadur, sir. You have a question?
Namaste, Sarifa ma'am. Hello, Sarifa ma'am. Namaste. And
Yes, sir.
it was very wonderful. It was a wonderful lecture indeed, and we really enjoyed listening to it. It was very nice. For noon, we have spent almost 1 hour with you, and we had a glimpse of herbal medicine scenario prevailing in Bangladesh. And there is a very elaborate account of the research and the work which you went through for COVID-19 against COVID-19 infection and the future line of economy. It was very wonderful. Ma'am, I just wanted to know on which area or on which diseases you are now concentrating to move forward with herbal medicine, whether it is diabetes or any other. Which area now you are concentrating with the herbal medicine to move forward?
Move forward. Okay. Actually, our pharmaceuticals are targeting at the beginning the topmost pharmaceuticals are not interested to manufacture herbal medicine, but nowadays they are interested. The interest goes day by day, and they invest a huge amount. And actually, the top 10 pharmaceuticals already start separate separate premises for herbal products. So our production rate is increased, though have some challenges, but our company is moving forward for increasing that growth. You it's a good sign. So the pharmaceuticals are come forward for improving the market size.
One another question, because like northeastern India, in Bangladesh also they used to consume lot of fermented food. Am I audible? Like northeast India,
Voice is not clear.
okay. Like in northeastern India, in Bangladesh also people used to consume lot of fermented food. What do you think? Whether those fermented foods has more medicinal value than the normal foods?
Sorry, sir, I don't understand. The sound is not clear. It will be better if anyone write in the chat box or the presenter can actually sound. I don't get the proper sound.
Anyway, thank you so much.
So thank you, sir. Actually, I missed. I wanted to clarify that basically due to the visa issue, I can't with you, but I enjoyed the session, and of course, I am grateful to AdtU management for inviting. So thank you all. Hope we will meet.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you for your valuable time. Thank you. Now I'd like to request Mr. Krishna to go on with our next plenary session. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, good morning to all of you. I am Krishna Kumar Bharti, and I'm honored to stand before you as your host for this gathering. Now let's direct our attention to the main attraction of this session. We are fortunate to have with us our distinguished guest speaker, Professor Dr. S. Geeta Subramaniam ma'am. She is someone whose accomplishments and expertise have earned them a well-deserved reputation in their field. But unfortunately, due to unforeseen circumstances, our honorable guest speaker could not be with us here today in a person. But I'm delightful to announce that we will have the privilege of hearing ma'am's word of wisdom through live online connection. Ladies and gentlemen, our honorable guests and fellow scholars, it is my privilege to introduce you to Professor Dr. S. Geeta Subramaniam ma'am. Professor Dr. S. Geeta Subramaniam is an accomplished and energetic educator who currently serves as the Dean of the Faculty of Health and Life Sciences at INTI International University, Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. She has a strong background in teaching, curriculum development, and research in the field of microbiology. Dr. Subramaniam holds a Bachelor of Science degree and a Doctor of Philosophy from the University of Malaysia. In terms of her professional experience, Dr. Subramaniam has 9 years of teaching experience at INTI International University, where she has taught various subjects in biotechnology to undergraduate students. Additionally, she has been involved in curriculum development and has contributed to the improvement of teaching and learning strategies. Dr. Subramaniam has also been actively engaged in research and has published over 45 scientific articles in peer-reviewed journals. Her research interests include diagnostic microbiology, antibiotic assistance, antimicrobial property of medicinal plants, vaccine hesitancy, and mushroom cultivation. She has presented her research findings at both local and international conferences and has received awards for her excellent papers and presentations. Dr. Subramaniam is a member of several professional organizations, including the Malaysia Society for Biochemistry and Molecular Biology, the American Society of Microbiology, the Microbiology Society of Malaysia, and the Hong Kong Chemical, Biological, and Environmental Engineering Society. She actively contributes to these organizations by serving as a reviewer for conferences and journals. In recognition of her contribution to education and research, Dr. Subramaniam has received several awards, including the National Outstanding Educator Award and the Indodex 2021 Bronze Medal. She is highly regarded for her expertise and dedication to her field. Professor Dr. S. Geeta Subramaniam is a highly accomplished and dedicated educator with a strong background in microbiology. She has made significant contributions to teaching, research, and community service throughout her career. Her passion for excellence, commitment to student learning, and expertise in her field make her valuable assets to INTI International University and the academic community as well. Without further delay, I would like to request our honorable guest speaker, Professor Dr. S. Gita Subramaniam, to enlighten us with her speech. Please, ma'am, continue.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am, we can hear you.
Thank you to the organizers of AdtU Pharmacon 2.0 for inviting me to this very prestigious and very important conference. Food sources, pharmaceuticals, we are running out of space, ladies and gentlemen. We really have to do something about it. So I'm honored that to be part of this very important conference, and I'm looking forward to more presentations by the honorable speakers. The topic of my talk today is the use of mushrooms as a source of nutraceuticals and pharmaceuticals. So basically, mushrooms have played a very vital role in our diet for centuries. Many of us cook mushrooms, but what we don't realize is they're more than just contributing to flavor and texture. They're now being increasingly recognized as their source and potential for nutraceuticals and pharmaceuticals, providing health benefits as well. So one good thing is mushrooms are very rich in protein, and this is good news for vegetarians like myself. So next slide is, sorry. So before I go into the mushroom part of the talk, just a brief overview of what nutraceuticals are. Now, this is a term that's used to describe any product that we obtain from food sources that contribute to health benefits, in addition to their basic food nutritional values. So nutraceutical combines two words: nutrient, which is the nourishing food component, consisting of proteins, carbohydrates, etc., and pharmaceutical, which is a medicinal drug. So basically, ladies and gentlemen, the philosophy behind nutraceuticals is to focus on prevention, right? Because you'll be wondering why I'm talking about nutraceuticals and pharmaceuticals, when nutraceutical also consists of pharmaceutical components. Pharmaceuticals, on the other hand, are medications, traditional medications that we've identified and we use to treat, manage, or even prevent known diseases. So these include prescribed medications, over-the-counter medications, vaccines, and they're used to alleviate specific health issues. Our previous speaker spoke about the treatment of COVID-19. So that would be nutraceuticals. And these pharmaceuticals would be the vaccines and other medication. So with edible mushroom species, now there are more than 30,000 mushroom species all over the world, but out of these, only 10% are edible. Only 10%. And 400 species of mushroom are regularly consumed because their unique properties include nutritional benefit. They are easy to cultivate. They're really very easy to cultivate, and you don't need vast open spaces to cultivate them. You can cultivate them on virtually ecological ways. Sawdust is the most common method of cultivating mushrooms. You just need a confined space, and you can grow tons of mushrooms, enough to feed a lot of people. So briefly into the nutrient content of mushrooms, they are high, as I mentioned earlier, they contain high protein content. And the beauty of mushrooms is they contain all the essential amino acids, being particularly rich in lysine and leucine, right? So mushrooms are also high in polyunsaturated fats. They contain a multitude of vitamins, minerals, and dietary fiber, and they're also known to be a good source of folic acid. So all these components are actually very health-related compounds that contribute to the nutraceutical part of it. So the beauty of mushrooms, furthermore, is not only are they rich in proteins and polyunsaturated components, the vitamins, minerals, but they're also low in calories, low in sodium, they're gluten-free, cholesterol-free, and fat-free. So they have all the good parts of nutrition and they leave out a lot of the negative parts of nutrition. So they taste good, they are beneficial with minimum risk factors, but not all edible mushrooms have been actually researched for their edible properties. Some actually have some toxic side effects, hallucinogenic side effects. That's why out of the 3,000 or so edible mushrooms, only 400 are regularly consumed. And out of this, about 40 are produced commercially. So some of the popular edible mushrooms are in these photographs here. You've got shiitake mushrooms, you've got oyster mushrooms, maitake, enoki, shimeji, and all these have been already tried and tested. I got this actually from a paper in India, and many of them are good sources of essential minerals and vitamins, including niacin, riboflavin, vitamin B6, thiamine, and as I mentioned, the essential amino acids like leucine and isoleucine. So many mushrooms, delicious in taste and yet nutritionally beneficial. So some of the macronutrients that are found in mushrooms that can actually boost the immune system include selenium, vitamin D, and vitamin B6. Now, selenium helps our body to produce antioxidant enzymes, and these are crucial to prevent cell damage. So portobello mushrooms, cremini mushrooms, these give the best selenium benefits. They are very high in selenium content. One thing I'd like to emphasize, ladies and gentlemen, while all mushrooms have tremendous benefit, different species have different quantities of these beneficial nutrients. So, for example, cremini and portobello are very rich in selenium, whereas vitamin D has been known to be in large quantities in maitake mushrooms, for example. So, consuming maitake mushrooms is a very good way of adding the vitamin D to our diet, which contributes to cell growth, boosting immune function, and reduces inflammation. Vitamin B6, on the other hand, helps our body to form red blood cells, proteins, and DNA, and this is richly they are among the best among mushroom. Shiitake is found to be the best choice for vitamin B6. So apart from being nutritive and containing excellent macronutrients for immune boosting, mushrooms also contain a wide variety of bioactive compounds such as beta-glucan, quercetin, capsaicin, and other. Now these components, many more, as shown in this diagram here, but many more that have already been well and well researched. Now, in a paper by Kumar and Paul in 2021, he reviewed the bioactive properties that are contained in mushrooms as well as the contribution to health. So he found that these compounds, particularly the beta-glucans, quercetin, and cholesterol, have immune boosting properties as well as antioxidants and cancer properties and overall health boost. So I will share with you later some of the mushroom research that's been done in regards to cancer, because it's now becoming very popular for mushroom research especially. So this is an overview of some of the species that contribute to immune boosting and to health benefits. As you can see, the things development, increase in weight and size of sleep, sorry, is there a problem?
No, madam, carry on.
Thank you. The lentinular inhibitors stimulate release of cytotoxic and cytostatin interleukins, such as interleukins 1 to 6, interleukins factor, and these factors are known to prevent the proliferation of breast cancer cells. In vitro studies have been done. Tremendous work scholar propose apoptosis, anti-angiogenesis, and metastasis, and actually contributes to reversal of drug resistance, which is very particularly with the issue of antibiotic resistance today. So as you can see in this table, there are several species of mushroom, all and most of them are contributing to, or activating rather, stimulating the production of cytokines, very beneficial cytokines that are in turn useful for the inhibition of cancer cell proliferation, for inducing apoptosis, downregulation of certain tumorigenic factors, and arresting cells. So the immune effects of mushroom have also been well documented and well researched. I've listed some of them here, popular ones. This is from a website called Sun Warrior. They really look at the beneficial nutritional benefits and health benefits of mushrooms. And they show that reishi mushrooms, they boost the immune system of chakra. These are sharing these two mushrooms in particular about some cancer studies that we've done. Oyster mushrooms, the second most popularly cultivated mushroom in the world, supports immune function, very rich in antioxidants, proteins, vitamin D, etc. Turkey tail also supports immune function. Lion's mane, very interesting mushroom. You've got to squeeze out some of the bitter taste, otherwise it's absolutely delicious soups and have this out. So mushrooms, they are known for immunomodulating properties. How? They basically stimulate expressions of genes encoding for the proteins that are involved in immune responses, and these include the cytokines that I mentioned earlier, tumor necrosis factor, interleukins, interferons, etc. So they actually help to regulate the immune system, and then they help and actually can treat various diseases. So this was adapted by Venturella et al. In 2021. Now I'd like to talk a little bit about anti-cancer properties of fungi, and this has been linked to many factors, but in particular, fungal immunomodulatory proteins or FIPs. FIPs have been well researched, anti-tumor as well as and anti-proliferative activities. They have specific mushroom species with potential, which include region as well as. So how does this happen? Basically, the factors, the FIPs and other factors, compounds from the mushrooms lead to the activation, for example, of macrophages. And macrophages are involved in tumor destruction. These active compounds also can induce apoptosis of inhibiting the proliferation of cancer by basically destroying them. They also induce the proliferation of certain cytokines and cytotoxic T cells that in turn will induce the base lymphocyte cell proliferation together with natural killer cell activity, attack and destroy tumor cells. All these lead to the inhibition of cancer cells and eventually arresting the cell proliferation. So these are some of the activities of the compounds from mushrooms. Now, I would like to talk about a paper by Black et al. In 2019 that was published in Turkey. Now, basically, he researched reishi. That's one of the mushrooms that I mentioned earlier. And reishi is rich in terpenes and triterpene compounds, which are derivatives of levosterols. So these include a wide range of components including gamma-derived acids, gamma-dermic acids, gamma-dermic alcohols, leucinones, and leucinuric acids. So these compounds have been shown in vitro to possess anti-tumor, anti-metastatic, cytotoxic, and enzyme inhibitory properties. Now, all these properties together have been shown to actually promote cell proliferation and metastasis. suppress cell proliferation and metastasis. So this actually helps to stop to address the cancer spread. It's also shown to have anti-tumor properties. It shows shrink tumors in animal studies. So how does it do that? Basically promotes apoptosis and it combines with immunomodulating, immunostimulating, and antioxidant activities with the anti-inflammatory activities together to suppress the so this is due to this group here of compounds known as the terpenes and triterpene compounds. So this is thanks to the studies by Woolach et al. Who really narrowed it down. What reishi actually does. Now another study by Chen et al. In 2019 looked at the anti-proliferative activity of Anthracias anemia. Now, this has shown very strongly to have anti-proliferative activity in breast cancer cells, both in vitro and in vivo. They did a lot of studies with acidomia, sorry. So this, how does it happen? It actually stops the cells from the breast, from the tumor cells at the G1 phase. When it stops it at the G1 phase, the cell proliferation is inhibited, and thereby destruction is induced. So not only did it was successful in breast cancer inhibition and destruction in vitro, but also in animal studies. So a lot of this has been done in vitro. Now, just before I go on to the next part of it, what scientists are doing now, ladies and gentlemen, is they are using all these research that's been done on mushrooms in regards to cancer. And rather than just use the mushroom extracts or the extracts from the mushrooms to treat cancer, they're combining it with the current anti-cancer therapies like chemotherapy, radiotherapy, because there are a lot of studies, if you look online, there are a lot of studies that show when you combine mushroom extracts, fresh mushroom extracts, mushroom supplements with chemotherapeutic drugs, it actually has the potential to reduce the effectiveness of the therapeutic drugs. So the patient's quality of life is much better. In addition to stimulating the anti-proliferative effects and the immunomodulatory effects. So it also reduces cancer cell proliferation together with the anti-cancer drug, and it also reduces the very bad side effects from the anti-cancer drugs. So it's really wonderful combination therapy they call it. Now, mushrooms are also widely researched for their antiviral and antibacterial effects. Because basically mushrooms, fungi in general, need these agents, antiviral, antibacterial, antifungal agents to survive. So they are a rich source of antivirals and antifungals as well as the antibacterial agents as well. Now mushrooms contain polysaccharides, glycoproteins, ergosterols, enzymes, acids, antibiotics. Now individually or in combination can actually mitigate viral, fungal, and bacterial infections. Now, when it comes to antibacterial activity, studies have shown that terpenoid compounds, limited flavonoids, alkaloids, they're contained in all plants, including mushrooms. And these terpenoids have been found to be the most potent antimicrobial agents. This is one of the studies that we're doing in our laboratory right now. The effects, antibacterial effects of edible mushrooms on clinical isolates of bacteria. I just want to share this interesting study. It's not mushrooms per se. Mushrooms are a group, Omeki et al. In 2019, they successfully isolated fungal species from a pharmaceutical waste storage facility. So the pharmaceutical waste actually leached into the environment and promoted somehow the growth of certain fungal species. And when they isolated various species, Fusarium and Sporium, they actually managed to isolate antibiotics from these particular fungal species. So I included this because I found it fascinating that pharmaceutical waste can also be beneficial to promote the growth of fungal species, which in turn produce antibiotics. So some of the antiviral properties of mushrooms, I'm taking this from a study by Steele and Choi. One, they showed that most of the targets, antiviral targets, were viral entry, viral genome replication, viral proteins and cellular proteins, as well as modulation. So basically, with this vast antiviral targets that were targeted by the mushroom components, you could use mushrooms to treat and relieve the symptoms of viral diseases, these infectious viruses, influenza viruses, as well as HIV. So these viruses are basically very difficult to treat. So when taking mushrooms, mushroom supplements, it's amazing that you can actually reduce the symptoms of these diseases and help to treat them. So some mushroom compounds have been shown to act so well against HIV, influenza, and hepatitis B viruses, it was actually comparable to the current antiviral drugs that are produced commercially by pharmaceutical companies. So you can see the huge potential from mushrooms, ladies and gentlemen. Not only that, mushrooms are also being studied for their protection. This is the light absolutely delicious and sweet once it removes some bitterness by now mushrooms lion's mane has been shown to support growth as well as promote cognitive function. So you can already see benefits and potential applications in neurological disorders. Now this is still very much in the preclinical trial phase, but we hope to see something more targeted on the near future. So good news for those of us indigestion problems, gut problems. Mushrooms are also very rich in non-digestible carbohydrates like protein and gluten, which contribute to prebiotic properties. So basically, they can support the beneficial of gut bacteria while negating the effects of the pathogenic bacteria. Pleurotus obstruentus, for example, that's one of the mushrooms we're working on in tea. It contains a very high range of chemicals, including alkaloids, flavonoids, terpenes, etc. And these are rich in antimicrobial as well as prebiotic functions. These also have shown to have a positive correlation between the regulatory effects of prebiotics and one particular group of the phytochemicals, which are the phenols. So this results in the healthy balance of good microorganisms, as we call them, the beneficial gut bacteria, as well as our healthy guts, right? So it promotes digestive health. So this was a very interesting study by two groups, Young et al. In 2022 and O'Keefe et al. In 2021. I'm sure you've seen a lot of skin products that are blooming now, all from mushroom origin, because of the presence of antioxidants in mushrooms. Antioxidants are very beneficial for skin health, and due to this, mushrooms now are being researched widely for their applications in cosmeceutics as well as pharmaceuticals. For example, the chaga variety, this one here, this lovely red colored mushroom, is found mainly in birch trees in the West. And I like this phrase, I actually took it from an advertisement online, extra magical and nourishing skin. And they're supposed to have calming properties because, frankly, the nutrients and the phenolic compounds from the chaga mushrooms have shown to be very effective in treating contact dermatitis, rosacea, and even eczema to the. So can see some of the advertisements. Dr. Andrews, origins, mega mushroom relief and resilience. Sorry, by advertisement. Very, very morale boosting. But the scientific benefits are actually true. Mushrooms have a lot of antioxidants, very high content of antioxidants, mainly the beta glucans and other polysaccharides. So they actually exhibit their antioxidant mechanisms through protecting mitochondrial components, being RS scavengers, ferrotochelators, lipid peroxidation inhibitors. They increase certain enzyme activities, OH scavenging, etc. So many, many mechanisms altogether contributing to the antioxidant properties, largely contributed from the polysaccharides. So what are the current research and directions? I've already talked about many benefits of mushrooms, nutraceutical as well as pharmaceutical. So medicinal mushrooms are being widely researched. Now, we have shown before and certain in vivo studies. What we need to do is actually look at how these mushrooms can be utilized as actual medication, actual treatments. They're used in combination treatment in breast cancer, in leukemia. But how can they be used as treatment per se? Because they have a lot of benefits. Furthermore, mushroom genetics and breeding, well, I always said that to need a small space to cultivate your mushrooms. You don't need vast fields. But with genetic manipulation, you could even enhance the pharmaceutical and nutraceutical properties of mushrooms. And mushroom biotechnology can lead to how we can use ecological ways to further enhance the mushroom growth, thereby reducing the waste in the environment and contributing to to the Sustainable Development Goals by the United Nations. 3 for promoting good health and wellness and the environmental sustainable development goals. We can also study the toxicology and safety of the non-edible mushrooms because some of the properties of these non-edible mushrooms could actually be transmitted into a pharmacological product. So that is something we can also look into. Nutraceutical combinations, I've shown you examples, there could be many, many more. Mushroom-derived pharmaceuticals, which could tie into the medicinal mushrooms, as well as environmental and agricultural benefits. So in conclusion, ladies and gentlemen, mushrooms are more than something we enjoy eating, we enjoy cooking. They're also a source of health. This is due to the bioactive compounds, the nutritional value. This makes them very important as nutraceuticals and pharmaceuticals that contribute and have the potential of contributing even more to health and well-being in general. And with that, I thank you.
If anyone is having any question regarding this session, please raise your questions.
Namaste, and thank you for your nice presentations. Your presentations is really enlightening us about the mushrooms and their medicinal benefits. So one of my question is that have you done any safety assessment or safety studies by combining the analytical data and in silico toxicological studies? And have you done any molecular characterization to identify these mushrooms?
Thank you for the question. Currently, there are, of course, molecular ways of trying to type the mushrooms because this is particularly important because some of the poisonous inedible mushrooms resemble the edible mushrooms. So there are many molecular studies that are actually being carried out to try and differentiate between the edible and inedible mushrooms. So as for the molecular benefits of mushrooms, I'm sure there are many. many. And I haven't included this in my talk today, I do apologize, but yes, there are many studies that are currently ongoing. I hope I've answered your question.
Yes, well, thank you. Namaste, Gita ma'am. Myself, Dr. KV from AdtU, Assam Downtown University. Ma'am, just being a plant pathologist, I was interested in Ganoderma because you know that Ganoderma it creates havoc in plantations of areca nut, coconut, and many perennial trees. The plants used to die when Ganoderma infects. But now I can know that for last maybe from 15 or 20 years back, we come to know that there are compounds in Ganoderma lucidum or Ganoderma periplana. There are compounds which are anti-cancer properties are there. Is there any product available from Ganoderma against cancer?
Actually, there are a lot of products available from Ganoderma. This is it's one of the reishi mushrooms that I mentioned earlier, and the traditional Chinese medicine use a lot of Ganoderma-based products for treatment of diseases. So you get that in our Chinese medicine halls. The pharmacies for traditional Chinese medicine in Malaysia and other countries are called Chinese medicine halls. So you actually see Ganoderma being offered as one of the treatment options there. So it's currently used in traditional treatments.
Ma'am, your lecture was very beautiful. Actually, we enjoyed it for and you made us to move around the world of mushrooms. And it is a natural source. Natural source of mushrooms are now we know that it is a natural source of pharmaceuticals as well as nutraceuticals. If not, we can have it as a nutraceutical or pharmaceutical source. Another thing, from the commercial point of view, which one is more important, the Desi mushroom, that is Ganoderma, or Chagas mushroom? From commercial point of view, which one is more important? Where we should concentrate further?
Okay, this is a bit difficult. It's really kind of catch-22 situations. Thank you for your question, because it depends on how much has actually been researched on Chaga and Ganoderma. Because, like I said, in traditional Chinese medicines, I've seen a lot of the Ganoderma mushrooms being utilized. But Chaga is becoming increasingly important because of the strong anti-tumor properties. So we expect to see a lot more usage of Chaga mushrooms. So for cultivation, it's basically based on the preference of the researcher, of the end user. Right now, what we see is a lot of mushrooms are being cultivated for consumption purposes, for as a food source, not so much as a medical benefit. That is developing now, I would say.
Yes, right, ma'am. Thank you so much. It's wonderful talking with you.
Any other questions?
Good morning, ma'am. Wonderful paper you have presented. I want to know one thing. The two varieties of mushroom. One is cultivated and another is white. Within the white group, there are two varieties. One is poisonous or non-edible, and another is edible. My question is, can you identify this non-edible and edible variety? Shortcut method of identification without going through laboratory technique or just only physical verification or observation or physical manipulation or something without going to laboratory. Because in our area, sometimes people die by consuming these poisonous type of muscle. What is the method of identifying between poisonous and non-poisonous?
That's an excellent question, sir. Thank you very much. Honestly, for me, I would require laboratory confirmation whether mushroom is edible or non-edible. But for the scientists, the researchers who are very well versed, or even the academicians who are well versed in mushrooms, they can actually physically tell the difference between an edible and inedible mushroom. It's very tricky, it's very difficult because, as I mentioned earlier, there are some species that look alike. And as you have correctly pointed out, people have died eating the inedible mushrooms, the poisonous mushrooms. So you really have to be an expert in the field. If you're not sure, please do.
Sure. It's very difficult to identify. Normal.
They actually identify by the appearance of the mushroom. They can tell the difference between the edible and inedible mushrooms. But these are the real experts who are very well versed with mushrooms and mycology. With mycology.
Any other questions? Thank you. Before we move towards the next part of our event, I extend a heartfelt thanks to our honorable guest speaker, Professor Dr. S. Geeta Subramaniam. Thank you very much, ma'am. Your wisdom and insight have truly enriched our morning, and we are sincerely grateful for your presence. Once again, thank you very much, ma'am. Now we are having our next session in Auditorium 1 after 10 minutes. So I would like to request everyone to please move forward towards the Auditorium 1 for our next session. Please.